Hey guys, I just wanted to touch base with you about our next essay. While this genre of writing is a bit different from the memoir essay, there are some things that we will use as carryover from the previous essay, but I did want to make sure that you have a sound and solid understanding of what it is that I expect out of this type of writing. But this essay type is covered in chapter 11 in your textbook. Please do read the details about that chapter, and also make sure that you read the sample essay, particularly the sample essay regarding women's shoe advertisements. So let's get a little bit of information in terms of what this type of writing does entail. Of course, the name of this genre is text analysis. Here, it's important to remember that text does not just refer to words on the page or words on the screen, but in academia, text can refer to anything from which you can derive a deeper meaning. So in this case, for your particular assignment, the text that we'll be focusing on is advertisement. Now, you may choose to write about either a print or commercial ad, but your goal in writing about either one of those is to first describe the text and then analyze it for its deeper meaning, and then offer some commentary about its effectiveness. So it doesn't matter if you choose a print advertisement or a commercial advertisement, but you do have to choose text that actually say something that you can look at as an unbiased viewer, as an unbiased person analyzing the text, and offer exactly what it is that you think it means and how the audience in general, or in this case just the public, how we should interpret and thereby be influenced by the text that we are observing. Now, there is in your textbook a number of key features that are detailed alongside some examples, but I do just want to point out a couple of those. And of course, I do expect that you will read it in the textbook and then take extra time kind of making sure that you have a sound understanding. But one trait that is carryover from the memoir essay is a detailed summary and or description. Now, one of the major key features of that memoir essay was painting a picture with your words, describing what it is that you experience so that your reader could be immersed in that situation right alongside you. With the analysis essay, you're doing the same thing. You want to write from the stance that your reader is not going to be able to see the commercial. Your reader is not going to be able to see the advertisement in the magazine or on the billboard or wherever it may be. So you want to make sure that you do offer a detailed description if it's a print ad and a detailed summary if it's a commercial. So you want to paint those pictures with your words, making sure that we understand exactly what it is that you see. Now, again, the sample essay, which appears in your textbook, does a really good job at explaining exactly what is being described. And again, all of this is covered in chapter 11. And the essay that I'm talking about in particular regarding women's shoe advertisements begins on page 95. And I encourage you to read it because the level of description that the author uses is really on point. Another thing that I want to point out is a clear interpretation and judgment. Now, when we see words like interpretation and judgment, we are prone to believe, or we are prone to think, okay, this is my opinion. And the answer is yes, this is your opinion. However, your opinion should be written objectively. So I want you to make sure that you avoid using those personal pronouns, I, me, my, those phrases that are unnecessary completely, such as I think, in my opinion, it seems to me. Instead, write about your opinion in a very objective way in order to prove and show what it is that you're trying to say about the advertisement. Now, in particular, you do have some choices in this assignment. You can choose to write about either one commercial or print ad or two commercials or print advertisements. It doesn't matter to me whichever you choose. It just depends on the angle of your writing. So, for example, you can talk about one Dove body wash ad and do a close analysis of that one advertisement. Or you may choose to talk about two advertisements. Say, for example, you're looking at a Doritos commercial and a Pringles commercial. Or you're looking at two different Doritos commercials, for example, from two different time periods, maybe one from the early 90s and one from 2018, or whatever the case may be. Those are just examples. In terms of finding your sources. You can obviously watch television, YouTube, advertisements pretty much flood us everywhere we go. But you can also, if you want to look up something that's a little bit more controversial or whatever the case may be, you can always do a quick Google search of advertisements, controversial ads from any year, and you will be surprised by some of the things that you do come across. Now, if you choose to do a comparative analysis, what you're going to be doing is choosing two things that have some similarities. So don't feel obligated to contrast, because you're ultimately building one point. So you'll be more so comparing than contrasting. Now, in terms of getting started, the first thing that I encourage you to do is to just find a text. Spend significant time simply studying that text once you find it. Make sure that you look at all of the key features. Make sure that if it's a commercial, you're paying attention to the storyline. You're paying attention to the characters, the lighting, the setting, the product placement, all those little details that make you want to, pay attention, or if you're turned off by the commercial or whatever the case may be. If it's a print ad, you're looking at the advertisement, you're looking at the models, you're looking at how the thing is described, you're looking at the words that are used. And your ultimate goal is to come up with a thesis statement that argues a point. On the assignment handout, there is a sample thesis statement that should guide your writing and your thinking along those lines. So specifics, of course, this paper does have some research components. Of course, you do need to have an outline, but you will also need to have a works cited page and cite your sources in text as well, because you are relying on outside sources and all of your thoughts, opinions, and ideas are not coming from your head. Your paper should be a minimum of 2 pages. We're going to cap it at 5 pages. You don't want to go on and on. You want to make your point kind of concisely and then be prepared to just move on and let your reader then toil over what it is that you're saying. So, of course, as with anything, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. You can reach me via email or my cell phone number, text only, please. And other than that, happy writing.